Chapter 1: The Start. In the year 1944, during a big war, there was a group of brave soldiers led by Captain James Biddle. Their mission was very important and dangerous. They called it Do or Die because they had to be brave and succeed, no matter what. Captain Biddle and his team had to go into the enemy's territory and gather important information. It was risky because the enemy was everywhere, but they knew they had to do it for their country and for peace. Before they started their mission, Captain Biddle gathered his soldiers together. He spoke to them with confidence and explained how important their mission was. He reminded them to be brave and work together as a team. The soldiers prepared themselves for the mission. They packed their gear, checked their weapons, and made sure they were ready. They knew it wouldn't be easy, but they were determined to succeed. As they began their journey, they faced many challenges. They had to walk through forests, cross enemy checkpoints, and avoid the enemy soldiers. Every step was risky, and they had to be very careful not to get caught. Along the way, they encountered difficult situations. Sometimes they had to fight the enemy, and other times they had to hide and stay quiet. But they never gave up. They relied on their training and trusted each other to get through it. As they moved deeper into enemy territory, the pressure increased. They had to find important information that could help their side win the war. It was a big responsibility, and they knew they couldn't fail. Captain Biddle showed great leadership. He was brave and never gave up, even when things were hard. He inspired his soldiers to keep going and reminded them why their mission was so important. After days of hard work, they finally reached their goal. They found the information they needed and knew it would make a difference in the war. It was a relief, but they knew they still had to get back safely. As they made their way back, they had to be careful not to get caught by the enemy. It was tense and scary, but they stayed strong. Finally, they managed to escape and return to their base. Captain Biddle and his team were exhausted but proud. They had completed their mission successfully. They knew there was still a lot of work to be done, but they were ready to face whatever challenges came their way. The story of their bravery and determination had just begun. They were heroes, and they would continue fighting for peace and freedom. Chapter 2: A Big Decision. After the success of their mission, Captain James Biddle and his team returned to their base. They were greeted with applause and admiration for their bravery. But their work was not yet finished. They had to make an important decision. Captain Biddle called a meeting with his team to discuss their next steps. They gathered in a room filled with maps and plans. Everyone listened attentively as Captain Biddle explained the options they had. One option was to continue their mission and gather more information about the enemy's plans. This would mean going on another dangerous journey into enemy territory. The other option was to share the information they already had with their superiors and let them decide what to do next. Captain Biddle asked his team for their opinions. He wanted to hear what each soldier thought. One by one, they expressed their thoughts and concerns. Some were eager to continue the mission, believing that they could make an even greater impact. Others were worried about the risks involved and thought it might be safer to pass the information to their superiors. Captain Biddle listened carefully to each opinion. He valued the input of his team and knew that their collective wisdom was crucial in making the right decision. After hearing everyone's thoughts, he took a moment to think. Finally, Captain Biddle stood up and addressed his team. He thanked them for sharing their thoughts and acknowledged the bravery they had shown. He reminded them that their mission was not just about personal glory, but about serving their country and protecting innocent lives. With a determined expression, Captain Biddle announced their decision. They would continue their mission. He believed that they had come this far and had the skills and courage to make a difference. The team nodded in agreement, ready to face the challenges ahead. They spent the next few days preparing for their new mission. They reviewed their plans, gathered supplies, and made sure they were well equipped for the journey. Captain Biddle reminded them to stay focused and united, as their success depended on their teamwork. As they set off on their new mission, the soldiers felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. They knew the risks involved, but they were committed to making a difference. They had chosen to face the unknown, knowing that it was the right thing to do. The journey ahead was filled with uncertainty, but Captain Biddle and his team remained resolute. They knew that they were fighting for a greater cause and that their sacrifices were not in vain. With each step, their determination grew stronger, and they prepared themselves mentally and physically for the challenges that awaited them. Little did they know that their decision would lead them on an even more daring adventure, pushing their limits and testing their courage in ways they never could have imagined. Chapter 3. The journey continues. Captain James Biddle and his team embarked on their new mission with hope in their hearts and determination in their eyes. They ventured deeper into enemy territory, following their carefully crafted plans. As they moved through unfamiliar landscapes, the soldiers relied on their training and each other. They communicated in hushed whispers, staying vigilant to avoid detection. The journey was tough, but their spirits remained high. Along the way, they encountered various obstacles. They crossed rivers and climbed steep hills, always watching for any signs of danger. Their resilience and teamwork propelled them forward, overcoming one challenge at a time. Despite the difficulties, the soldiers found moments of respite. During brief breaks, they would gather around sharing stories and laughter. These moments of camaraderie helped lift their spirits and reminded them that they were not alone in their mission. As they continued their journey, they stumbled upon a small village nestled amidst the mountains. The villagers, wary at first, soon realized that Captain Biddle and his team were there to help. They shared information about the enemy's activities and provided valuable assistance. Grateful for the villagers' support, Captain Biddle and his soldiers continued on their path. They knew that time was of the essence, and every piece of information they gathered could make a difference in the outcome of the war. Days turned into weeks, and the soldiers pressed on, their determination unwavering. They faced harsh weather, fatigue, and moments of doubt. But their belief in their cause propelled them forward, inspiring each other to keep going. One fateful night, as they camped under the starry sky, Captain Biddle noticed a flickering light in the distance. Curiosity piqued, he gathered his team and cautiously approached the source. To their surprise, they discovered a group of resistance fighters who had been fighting against the enemy in secret. The resistance fighters welcomed Captain Biddle and his soldiers, recognizing their shared goal of liberating their land from oppression. With the newfound alliance, Captain Biddle's team gained valuable allies. The resistance fighters provided them with additional information and strategic guidance. They shared their experiences and taught the soldiers vital skills for survival in enemy territory. Together, they planned a daring operation to disrupt the enemy's supply lines. The mission was risky, but Captain Biddle and his team were fueled by a renewed sense of purpose. They knew that by crippling the enemy's resources, they could strike a significant blow to their morale and strength. Under the cover of darkness, they executed the operation flawlessly. The soldiers moved swiftly and silently, sabotaging enemy supply routes and seizing valuable resources. The impact of their actions was felt throughout the enemy ranks. As the operation concluded, Captain Biddle and his team retreated into the shadows, leaving behind a trail of chaos and uncertainty. The enemy was now on the back foot, their confidence shaken. With their mission accomplished, the soldiers took a moment to reflect on their journey so far. They had faced countless challenges, but their unwavering spirit had carried them through. They knew that their actions had made a difference, bringing hope to those oppressed by the enemy's reign. But their journey was far from over. There were still battles to be fought, sacrifices to be made, and a war to be won. With renewed determination, Captain Biddle and his team prepared for the next phase of their mission, ready to face whatever lay ahead. Chapter 4: The Final Push. Captain James Biddle and his team stood at a critical juncture in their mission. They had overcome numerous challenges and achieved significant victories, but the war was far from over. Now they faced their toughest test yet, the final push. With the support of the resistance fighters, Captain Biddle devised a daring plan to strike at the heart of the enemy's operations. Their objective was to capture a strategically important enemy stronghold and gather vital information that could turn the tide of the war. As they approached the enemy stronghold under the cover of darkness, anticipation filled the air. The soldiers moved stealthily, using their training to evade enemy patrols. They knew that any misstep could cost them everything. Captain Biddle signaled his team to split into smaller groups, each with a specific task. They infiltrated the stronghold from different directions, carefully disabling security measures and neutralizing guards without raising the alarm. Inside the stronghold, they encountered fierce resistance. The enemy fought back with all their might, but Captain Biddle and his soldiers were resolute. They relied on their training and the trust they had built throughout their journey. Room by room, they cleared the stronghold, pushing deeper into enemy territory. The tension was palpable, but they refused to back down. Their mission had become a personal crusade, fueled by the desire to bring an end to the enemy's tyranny. As they reached the heart of the stronghold, they discovered a room filled with important documents and maps. It was a treasure trove of information that could change the course of the war. They swiftly collected the documents, ensuring that nothing of value was left behind. With the valuable intel in their possession, Captain Biddle and his team prepared for their escape. They moved quickly, retracing their steps and avoiding enemy patrols. The enemy was now fully aware of their presence and desperate to stop them. The soldiers faced a barrage of gunfire and explosions as they fought their way out of the stronghold. Each step was fraught with danger, but their determination remained unshaken. They had come too far to give up now. Under the cover of smoke and chaos, they managed to break free from the enemy's clutches. Fatigued but triumphant, they regrouped outside the stronghold, celebrating their success. They knew that their mission had dealt a significant blow to the enemy's operations. Captain Biddle took a moment to address his team, praising their bravery and resilience. He reminded them of the lives they had saved and the impact of their actions. They had made a difference, and their sacrifices would be remembered. As they made their way back to friendly lines, the soldiers carried with them a sense of fulfillment. They knew that the war would continue, but they had played their part. They had shown what true courage and determination could achieve. The story of Captain James Biddle and his team would be remembered as a testament to the human spirit. They had faced insurmountable odds and emerged victorious. Their journey had shaped their lives and the lives of those they fought for. The war would eventually come to an end, and peace would prevail. But the legacy of Captain Biddle and his team would live on as a shining example of bravery, sacrifice, and the indomitable spirit that can overcome even the darkest of times. Chapter 5: Triumph and Reflection. As Captain James Biddle and his team returned to their base, they carried with them the weight of their accomplishments. The valuable information they had gathered and the successful missions they had completed had turned the tide of the war. The news of their heroic exploits spread like wildfire, igniting hope among their fellow soldiers and the people they fought to protect. Captain Biddle's team became symbols of courage and resilience, admired by all. Their return was met with cheers and applause. The soldiers, weary but filled with pride, were hailed as heroes. The high-ranking officials commended Captain Biddle and his team for their bravery and the crucial role they played in the war effort. In the following days, Captain Biddle and his soldiers were honored for their service. Medals were bestowed upon them, recognizing their exceptional valor and selflessness. Their names would forever be etched in history as true heroes. But amidst the celebration, Captain Biddle and his team remained grounded. They knew that their triumphs were not achieved alone. They recognized the support they received from the resistance fighters, the villagers, and their fellow soldiers. They understood the collective effort that had led to their success. With the war drawing to a close, Captain Biddle and his team took a moment to reflect on their journey. They sat together, sharing stories and memories. They marveled at how far they had come, the challenges they had overcome, and the bonds they had forged. Each soldier spoke, expressing gratitude for the camaraderie and the shared experiences that had carried them through the darkest times. They acknowledged the sacrifices made by their fallen comrades, promising to honor their memory and carry their legacy forward. Captain Biddle, with a somber yet determined tone, addressed his team. He reminded them that their fight was not just for victory on the battlefield, but for a world where peace and freedom reigned. He urged them to continue serving their country and to be ambassadors of hope. As the war came to an end, Captain Biddle and his team went their separate ways. Some returned to their families, while others continued to serve in different capacities. but the bonds they had formed would forever tie them together. In the years that followed, Captain Biddle and his soldiers carried the lessons they had learned into their lives. They became pillars of their communities, embodying the values of bravery, compassion, and resilience. Their story would be passed down through generations, inspiring others to face adversity with unwavering determination. The tale of Captain James Biddle and his team would serve as a reminder of the indomitable human spirit and the power of unity. And as they looked back on their journey, they knew that they had truly lived up to the motto of do or die. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged victorious, leaving an indelible mark on history.